Hello friends, my name is Tamara Vodovoz and I am here with the University of California, Davis and the Live Well department. Today we're going to work on our hip mobility. This is an area of the body that feels really good to stretch and release, and it should help us to bring a sense of well-being to our whole body. So follow along with me and let's enjoy some deep hip stretches and also some self-massage. So for this class, we'll need a tennis ball or a lacrosse ball. Let me just fix something right here. Okay. Any firm ball about the size of a tennis ball works. I have a tennis ball that actually belongs to my doggie, Salchi, who is supervising from the corner. She'll be back there making an appearance as usual in my classes. I have Salchi dog and two little puppies who are not going to be in class today because they are punished because they've been very mischievous, so they're not going to be here today. But maybe some other class I'll let them make an appearance. Okay, so besides the tennis ball, what we'll need is some free floor space and some yoga mats or exercise mats, whatever you have available. If you have carpet at home, you can just use a blanket or a towel. That works just as well. Basically anywhere, any floor space that you feel comfortable laying down on would be fine. All right, so let's get working on our hips. I'm gonna leave the tennis ball nearby. We'll need it in a little bit. And I also wanna play some music just to kind of give us a little bit of ambience for our class. So let's start on the mat, laying on our back. All right. So take a moment here with your knees bent, feet on the floor a little bit wider than your hips, and heels almost to the point where you could touch them with your fingertips. Arms wide out to the sides, and let your knees knock in towards the center. Make any adjustments to feel comfortable in your spine. Close your eyes for a moment and take a few deep breaths, allowing your belly and your hips to settle in and drop down into the floor. Take another big breath, exhale through your mouth. And bring your feet hip width apart. Bring the arms by your side, closer to your side, palms facing down. And lift your hips and bring them back down. And this might be a very small movement, but I want us to warm up our lumbar spine and the connection of the lumbar spine with the sacrum and all the muscles that connect the spine and the pelvis. you can work on trying to wave through, lifting first your pubic bone, and then arching to lower down the tailbone, and then sliding the pubic bone up again. So we're creating a wave and articulating through the lower spine and waking up all the muscles in the glute area and the pelvic area. Now reverse that wave. So we start lifting, arching the spine, lifting the belly button, and then at the top, lower the belly button, lower the lumbar spine first, and then the sit bones. And it doesn't really matter what it looks like. We're going for sensation and action here. Let's take 2 more of those waves. And now hovering the hips just above the ground, shift side to side. Like you're wagging your tail side to side. Just hovering above the ground. And bring the hips back down. Hug your knees into your chest. Take the knees wide and rock side to side. Maybe even stretching out the legs if that feels good. All right, any other movements here on the floor? Maybe twisting side to side. And let's come up to seated. All right. So let's sit with our feet on the floor, knees bent, hands on the floor behind you. And take your feet a little bit wider than your hips, so that when we bring the knees down, your knee matches the arch of the other foot. So that's the distance we're looking for. And shift side to side, making a gentle effort to bring both knees down to the floor and allow the hips to move as much as they need to come into this position, both knees down. We'll be doing a lot of swiveling the knees side to side like this in different ways. So this is an easy one to get started and figure out the alignment that we're looking for. So knee matching the arch of the other foot. All right, and the next time that your knees go to the left, point your toes so that your shins are in contact with the floor. Keep both knees down on the floor. Press your left hand into the floor and inhale. Lift your hips and reach the right arm up and over. Come down and switch to the other side. And lift. And come down. And let's move with our breath. On the inhale, reach up, hips up. Exhale to bring the hips down. Switch to the other side. Inhale, lift up. Keep going with your breath rhythm. And one last time to each side. And staying on our left side, keep the legs as they are, knee matching the arch of the other foot. Bring your hands to the floor and walk towards your left, twisting, twisting, twisting. And when you can't go any further, take a deep breath and lower down to the floor. Now, if you have a cushion nearby, you can bring the cushion close to your hips and lower down onto the cushion. You can make a pillow with your hands or your forearms. Find a place for your forehead to rest. Take deep breaths here. Take a big inhale, exhale through your mouth, and slowly come up and switch to the other side. Walk the hands all the way to the right, all the way, all the way, all the way until you can't twist anymore. If you have that cushion, bring it in nice and close and lower down. Big breaths here. Take a deep breath, exhale through your mouth. And slowly come up. Bring your feet together, creating a big diamond shape with your legs. So the heels are not very close to your pelvis, they're actually quite away. Hold on to the knees and rock a little bit side to side, feeling your sit bones on the floor. And then hold your ankles and rock side to side. And make sure that you can keep an extended spine. So if you're really rounding here and struggling to hold your ankles, just come back up here and rock on your sit bones. We're actually massaging here our sit bones as we rock side to side. All right, so some of us are right on our edge of flexibility. So just stay here until the body starts to loosen up. So we don't want to get into a place where we feel that our body is contracting and holding back. We want to stay in a place where we are challenged, of course, that we are on our edge, but we can still take a deep breath and release the body instead of gripping harder. So if you have that cushion nearby, you can bring it between your legs, like this. Take a deep breath, extend the spine, and on your exhale, allow yourself to drop forward. And again, let that dropping be soft, not pulling or gripping or straining yourself, but allowing. And the best way to get into that sense of allowing is taking a deep breath, and on the exhale, letting go. So let's try this for a few breaths, letting go. Take a deep breath, exhale through your mouth, and slowly come back up to seated. Remove the cushion, extend your legs, and shake them out. You can lean back on your hands and shake out the legs. All right, and now keeping your legs wide, not extremely wide, so not to the extreme of your full range of motion, but pretty wide. I'll let you be the judge of that. Open the chest and ground your hands on the floor behind you, fingers pointing out to the sides. Take a deep breath, lift the chest, shoulders back and down. Press the heels down into the floor and lift your hips off the ground. Spread your toes, keep your feet flexed. You're pressing the heels down. And now swivel your feet side to side, keeping the hips up, keeping the chest open. Spreading the toes, side to side. Don't let your hips collapse. It requires some effort here. And bring it down. Take the legs a little bit wider. If you have that cushion, bring it right in front of you. Take a deep breath. And maybe come a little bit lower. Now, if this is as far as you're gonna go, if your knees are bent, that's okay. Spread the toes and keep pressing out through your heels. So it's that action that's going to help us to increase our range of motion in our hips, and of course our hamstrings are working here too. All right, so if you're at that edge right here, you can just stay here, straight up. You can keep your hands on the floor behind you, opening the chest. Some of us might want to fold in. Wherever you're at, take those big, deep breaths. Take a deep inhale, exhale through the mouth, and slowly come up. Bring the knees back in, and let's come up to all fours. Shake it out a moment. Move the spine. Come into a downward dog. shake it out here, pedal the feet. Take the feet wide, bend the knees, walk the hands back towards the feet. Release the head, shake it out. Bend the knees and slowly come up to standing. And I'll tilt us up a little bit more. All right. Great. So find a wall or a stable furniture can be also useful, a chair or a table, something that's not going to move. So we'll place one hand on the wall and we're just going to swing our leg and just make sure that there's no obstacles around you so that you're not going to hit yourself with anything. So count about 10 swings, just back and forth. I'm starting with my left leg here. All right, and now facing the wall, side to side. And second side, right side, back and forth, count 10. Facing the wall, side to side. All right, now this one will be a little bit more tricky, and I'm going to show it first facing forward, but you can do it facing the wall, which will be more stable, or you can be holding on to the back of a chair or the edge of your table. So we'll start bending both knees a little bit, so the standing leg will be slightly bent. So we'll bring one knee bent in and out, in and out, kind of like drawing a number 8 or an infinity sign. And count 10 full figure 8s here. And yes, it is tiring and it requires some effort. When you're done with your 10 on one side, change to the other side. And 10. All right. Shake it out a little bit. Wiggle it out. And we'll come now to stand with our legs wide. And turn your feet out to the side. And bend the knees. So we're bending our knees. Actually, I'm going to move the doggy out to the side so we can see better. Sachi, you're okay. You just stay there. I'm just moving you out to the corner. Okay. All right. So I think we can see better here. All right, so feet out, turning out to the side, and bend the knees. So the knees are bent almost 90 degrees. So we're pretty low here in our hips. On your inhale, extend the legs, extend the arms up. Exhale, Bend the knees, wave the arms down. Let's repeat 3 more. All right, reach up, big breath. This time on your exhale, bring your hands down to your knees and keep the arms straight and let your hips sink down. So just allowing your hips to hang here. Getting a nice deep stretch in your adductors. Take a deep breath and pull your power back in towards your center. Hands still on the knees. And now shift your elbow towards the opposite knee and go side to side. Push the opposite knee away. So this hand pushes away. One more to each side. And come back up. Wiggle it out. Take a moment, move around. Shake it out. I'm wondering if we have enough light in here. I have a lamp, but I don't know if it's reaching us enough. Can everyone see me? Give me a hands up if you can see me well. All right, we're going back to that wide knee position. All right, and now we're really gonna call in the power of the muscles around our pelvis. You can bring your hands to your hips. You can also do this facing the wall, keeping your hands on the wall to give you more stability, or hands on the chair or the table, whatever you have nearby. So with the feet wide, I'm actually going to take the blanket out for a moment and place it right here in the center. And we'll lift the heel on one side, pivot on the ball of the foot, and lower the knee down. Lift, pivot, open. And now the other side. Lift the heel, pivot, bend, and lower. And we'll go side to side. And yes, this is difficult and tiring, and we're working very specifically on the adductors, abductors, and muscles that rotate our hips out and in, which is what we need to improve our hip mobility. All right, let's see if we can do one more to each side. Whew. Whew. And done. Shake it out. A little pounding on the quads. Yes, that is a hard one. All right. Very good. And a nice stretch. A big forward fold with the legs wide, toes pointing forward. Inhale, reach up. Bend the knees a little bit. Reach the arms forward. Reach, 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 reach. Keep reaching the fingers forward as much as you can. And take the hips back. So the hips go further back than the heel. So look how the hips Reach back, fingers reach forward. Bend the knees just a little bit. And extend that spine. Release your head. It's like you're pulling your spine out of your pelvis. Deep breaths into the back body. One more big breath. And release. Let's come down to the floor. We can open the blanket again. I'm going to tilt us down. We're going to come back to the floor for what we're going to do. Can you all see me all right? Okay. So this is a little bit of a torture, but it's really going deep into our pelvis and into our hip and all the muscles around. If you have a cushion or an extra blanket that you want to roll up to make a little prop, that will help you a lot if you see yourself very uncomfortable in this position, which a lot of people will be uncomfortable in this position because it's hard. It'll require a lot of hip mobility. Okay, so the position is bringing your legs in kind of like a pinwheel shape. So I'm going to start with my left shin forward. So I'm facing in this direction to the left of my room. So the shin is parallel to the front of the mat, and my leg comes straight forward. Okay, and I want to keep my chest in this direction. Now the right leg comes perpendicular, so it comes straight out to the right. So my shin is parallel to the long edge of my mat. Flex both feet and spread your toes. Keep your feet actively flexing, and this will help you to protect the knee. So we don't want to compensate with our knee if we're still working on our hip flexibility. So we want to keep our knees safe. Now if you came into this position and you're completely falling over to your left, that's where the cushion or the extra blanket or towel will help you to lift up. So you want to bring it under your left hip. And once you do that, you'll have a little bit more space between your pelvis and the floor. And it will help you a little bit. All right, so now that we are in our position, and this might be cramping for some of you, just give it a little pounding with your fist. It's already cramping a little bit for me, and I work on my hip mobility a lot. So it's totally normal if it's cramping. And if you have to come out and stretch it out, do it. It's okay. Pause the class. If you're watching this later as a recording, pause. Get that cramp out, and then come back to it. All right. So facing to the left. Bring both hands to the floor a little bit wider than the shoulders. Take deep breaths. On the exhale, lower your chest down. Inhale, come up, extend the spine. Exhale, bend the elbows, lower the chest. Let's do 3 more. And come up. Now, if that was already enough, it was on your edge, you can repeat that with your hands on the floor. If you want to feel it a little bit deeper, we're going to do it hands free. So we're going to take a deep breath to come up. Exhale to reach forward. Inhale, pulling back with your torso and your belly and pressing down into the floor with your shin. And repeat. Actually, it feels better for me to come up on the exhale because that's where I need more strength. So let's do it that way. Inhale to reach forward. Exhale to push up. Let's do 2 more. Great. Don't move anything on the front leg. Lean your hand, left hand to the floor, to your left, and we're going to take the right knee up and down. Up and down. Repeat 3 more times. All right, and now coming back to the front, you can either do it with hands or without hands. And as we lean forward, we're gonna lift the back heel and come up. Cramping, 1 more. All right, lean onto the left hand, and now extend the right leg forward, and then lean forward, extend the right leg back, and keep going. Let's do 3 more. All right, bring that leg up, thumb down, hold the pinky side of your right foot, and with your right hand, bring your thumb into the crease of the right hip and press it down so both sit bones are on the floor. Lift and open the chest and open the right arm out. Now cross the right foot over the left knee, twist to your left, left hand on the floor, lift the hips and reach the right arm up and over. And sit down, fire log. So you're stacking one shin on top of the other, so your ankle is on your knee, knee on the ankle, and for some of us, this is where we're going to be. You can bring the cushion, bring it under that knee, and hold this leg up a little bit. Press your hand into the foot, this hand into the knee, and sit up straight. For some of us who have a little bit more mobility, press into both feet, take a deep breath, and maybe fold in. Deep breaths here. Come up, keep the legs as they are, hands on the floor, lift the hips. And release, woo, shake it out. And we'll go to the second side. So now right shin parallel to the short end of the mat. Left leg straight out. Left shin parallel to the long edge of the mat. Flex those feet. And adjust. If you need to bring the cushion under your right hip, go ahead and do so. And 5 breaths. Inhale to come up, exhale to fold in. 3 more. All right, and now without the hands, or repeat 5 more with the hands if you need to do it with your hands. All right, leaning your right hand onto the floor. And now lifting the left knee up and down. 3 more times. All right, coming back to face the right side, either with hands on the floor or hands free. As you fold forward, lift the back heel up. All right. Woo. And leaning the right hand again on the right side and taking the left leg forward and back. Last one. And now thumb down with the opposite hand, hold the pinky side of the left foot. Left hand on the crease of the left hip and push the hip down. Extend the spine, lift and open the chest, and then reach your left hand back. All right, cross that foot over the other knee, twist to the other side, right hand to the floor, lift the hips and reach the left arm up and over. And come down for fire log. Ankle over knee, knee over ankle. And remember, if this is way beyond your capacity, help yourself. Bring a cushion under this knee, keep this knee up, press one hand into the foot, the other hand into the other knee, and extend your spine here. And if you want to go a little bit further, and your knees are safe, so remember keeping the feet flexed to protect the knees. Press into both feet with your hands, extend the spine, and maybe fold in. Come up, hands to the floor behind you, lift the hips. And release, shake it out. Woo. All right, let's get on the floor with our tennis ball and massage our glutes and our tensor fasciae lata, the TFL. So we are targeting this area on the side of the hip, and we're also targeting this area, the high part of our glutes. So come to lay on the floor, just like when we started at the beginning of the class. Feet on the floor, knees bent. And we'll bring the ball under our glutes. So you can keep the hands out to the sides to maintain balance. And I'm rocking side to side. I'm going to remove the blanket so that you can see very well. And let's actually we'll bring the camera down. All right. So we're targeting glute medium, piriformis, all those muscles that can get really tight in our pelvic area. And you might find some spots that are very tender, that are quite sensitive. So just lift yourself up a little bit more if it's too much. So remember, you are in control of this, so you can ease the pressure by lifting up and allowing yourself to sink in gradually into the tight spots. So maybe you found a spot that feels particularly intense and juicy, and you can pause there and just let your weight kind of sink in. Another thing I like to do is if I find a good spot, then I let the knee drop down and then slowly bring it back up. You can repeat that a few times. This is really, there's no way to do this wrong. You get to be your own massage therapist here and decide how intense you want the sensation to be or how gentle. And slowly start to bring the ball out towards the side of the hip. And you can stay like I am doing with my back on the floor, and then gently turning the knees over to the right so that the ball, now I feel it on my side. And this might be enough for you today. This might be as intense as you can handle today. But if you want to feel more sensation on the TFL, on the side, you can extend the bottom arm, extend the bottom leg, and roll completely on the side. So the ball is right here, and there's a really juicy, intense spot right there. And if you find that spot and you're like, oh my gosh, I just want to hold still and breathe, that works really well to release that area. Allowing the muscles to kind of soften around. I'm going to bring the light a little bit closer. All right, that might be better. And I love doing this type of myofascial release or self-massaging. It's very healthy and it's very good to help you to recover from intense exercising. All right, let's go to the other side. And starting rocking side to side across the left glute. Now, if you want to take the ball to your sacrum, if that feels good, go ahead, go for it. But we're really targeting the soft tissue here. We're targeting the muscles. But sometimes it feels really good to take the ball on the sacrum, because there can be a lot of tightness in that area as well. So feel free to explore with the ball all those spots, juicy spots, and pause and breathe. If you find a particularly juicy spot, you can drop the knee down. You can just stay there breathing. And just start taking the ball more towards the side of your hip. And remember, you can just rock here with your knees, side to side, rolling onto that area that might be a little bit more, there might be a little bit more sensation there. So this kind of feeling, I don't really call it pain. It's more like sensation. It's not really hurting you, but it's intense because the muscles are tight. So when we massage those tight muscles, it can be quite intense, but it's actually very good to do it. But take it, of course, in bite sizes that you can manage. So if it's too intense, it's not going to help if you're gripping. So if it's so intense that your body is gripping to kind of protect itself, then you've gone too far. And if you start to feel that gripping happening, take a deep breath. Exhale really slow. And that's going to help, that's going to send a signal to your nervous system that it's safe, that it's not hurting you, it's safe to let go. So the breath is really going to help us to find that new space, that opening in the muscles, in the tight muscles. So this here, I'm pressing on really hard. If I lift my upper body up on my forearm, I'm directing more weight down into this area. So here I'm pressing down with as much body weight as I can. And yes, it is quite intense, but it's also a part of my body that gets really tight, and this helps to release it a lot. And of course you can shift, just the tiniest little shift can be a whole other experience. So allow yourself to explore that. Even bringing the knee up and down a little bit, moving the leg on the tight spot. Ooh, quite intense, but very therapeutic. And exploring movement on the ball. So I still have that ball there, it's there, and I'm exploring movement. And that's going to help you release those tight muscles and help you to open the legs, open the hips a lot. All right, I'm going to let you guys explore there a little bit longer if you'd like. Keep a a tennis ball or a lacrosse ball with you. I will be bringing them in a lot for our Monday mobility classes. I'm alternating Monday mobility and Mindful Monday. So next week will be Mindful Monday with mindful meditation. Stay tuned. Practice, practice, practice. Keep moving. And I'll see you soon. Ciao, ciao.